Good morning, viewers. Today's topic of discussion is herbicide resistant genetically modified plants or transgenic plants. Now, before going to the methodology or the strategies involved in creating a transgenic variety for herbicide resistant character, let's have a brief introduction why you need to go for herbicide resistant plant variety. Now, weeds are unwanted and useless plants that grow along with the crop plants. Weeds compete with the crops for light and nutrients, besides harboring various pathogens. So, it is estimated that the world's crop yield is reduced by 10 to 15% due to the presence of weeds. So, next is the question, how do you tackle this? So, to tackle this problem of weeds, modern agriculture has developed a wide range of weed killers. What do you call it as herbicides? So, herbicides are broad spectrum as they can kill wide range of weed varieties. What should be the ideal characters of an herbicide if selected to kill the weeds? They should have capability of killing weeds only without affecting the crop plants. It should be non-toxic to animals and microbes. It should be rapidly translocated within the target plant, that's the weed, rapidly degraded in the soil. But commercially available herbicides is that they cannot discriminate weeds from the crop plants. So for this reason, crops are also affected by herbicides. Hence, there's a need to develop a herbicide resistant plant. What do you call it as? Transgenic plant. Now there is a herbicide which is broad spectrum herbicide called glyphosate, which is effective against 76 weed varieties. 76 of world's worst 78 weeds. So it is less toxic to animals and it can be degraded at a very short span. The American based company Monsanto markets it as Roundup. Mechanism of glyphosate action is they're capable of killing the plants in a very low concentration. It is rapidly transported into the growing tissues. Also, very important, they it is a competitive inhibitor of an enzyme EPSPS which is required for the shikimic acid pathway. Now you can see a screen here which is showing you or which shows the shikimic acid pathway synthesis, the protocol or the procedure. Shikimic acid is a precursor chemical or biochemical which is converted to shikimic acid 3-phosphate by the action of enzyme shikimate kinase, where kinase is involved in addition of phosphate group. This shikimic acid 3-phosphate is further involved in production of enol pyruvyl shikimic acid 3-phosphate by the action of enzyme EPSPS synthase. Further, enol pyruvyl shikimic acid 3-phosphate results in the production of chorosmic acid. Chorosmic acid further takes 2-fate chorosmic acid involved in production of phenylalanine and tyrosine, or chorosmic acid getting converted to anthranilic acid, and finally tryptophan. So this is the shikimic acid pathway. But when you spray glyphosate, which is an herbicide, how it is going to kill the plant? It will block the enzyme EPSPS synthase. So it will competitively inhibit this, thus not allowing this enzyme to further proceed for the product production, that's the important amino acids. Now, remember this shikimic acid pathway is blocked by glyphosate is not only going to block the production of amino acids, but they are also blocking the important metabolites which are required for the plant growth. So, shikimic acid pathway results in blockage or formation of certain important phenols also. So, thus biosynthesis of amino acids and other products are inhibited by glyphosate. So, the cell division is arrested, plant growth are blocked. So, this S pathway, the shikimic acid pathway, does not occur in animals because there comes a question, what if animals are getting this glyphosate into their chain? So that is not happening because they don't have a shikimic acid pathway. So it is not toxic to animals. It's only toxic to plants. Now you can use this as your protocol for raising a herbicide resistant plant variety. Now glyphosate cannot differentiate between the crop and the weed. It is going to act common or normal to all the plants. But what are the strategies employed by the scientists? The first strategies employed by the scientists to engineer herbicide resistant plant variety is to overexpress this particular gene, overexpression of EPSPS gene. Next strategy is use of mutant EPSPS gene. The last strategy is detoxification of herbicide by a foreign gene. Now, what is the first strategy? It's the overexpression of EPSPS gene. What is overexpression of a gene? Gene will produce a product in more amount than actually required in an exaggerated manner. So if you have a gene, that's EPSPS gene, which is producing the product, what is the product? It's an enzyme, that is EPSPS enzyme. So if that is produced in more amount, now there is, even though it is getting blocked by glyphosate, still there are enzymes required for the protocol or the procedure to follow. That is your shikimic acid pathway. So finally you get the products and the plant is going to survive. So this is one strategy. So this gene for EPSPS is got from Petunia. So this gene from Petunia was isolated and introduced into the plant. So the transgenic plant can tolerate glyphosate 2 to 4 times higher than that required to kill the type of weed. Though it is increased, though the spray or herbicide is sprayed more number of times also, they have the capacity to withstand that herbicide. So this is one strategy where the overexpression of the gene is happening. The next one is use of mutant EPSPS. So EPSPS mutant gene will show some resistance to glyphosate. Now, this gene is isolated from a bacterium, Typhimurium, that is Salmonella typhi, which is going to cause the typhoid. So, it was found in that, and that is isolated using agrobacterium mediated vector transformation procedure. It is transferred into the plant. So then you get a plant variety which will produce a mutant variety or mutant EPSPS gene. So that is not identified by your glyphosate. So this is one strategy or protocol. So when you have a plant which is the transgenic variety and the non-transgenic one, when you spray it with glyphosate, the mutant one will thrive healthy, but when compared to the non-mutant one which is not having the gene. The last strategy is detoxification of glyphosate. So there is a soil microorganism which possesses an enzyme glyphosate oxidase that will convert glyphosate to glyoxylate. The gene was isolated from this bacterium and was introduced into the crop plant. So you have glyphosate, which is herbicide, which is broken down into two components, out of which one is glyoxylate. So breaking of this is happening because of an enzyme produced by the organism, that's glyphosate oxidase. So scientists have engineered a plant with this gene. So when a plant comes in contact with glyphosate, they will immediately start producing glyphosate oxidase. Thus breaks the glyphosate and can thrive in the environment. So there's one more strategy, that's use of combined strategy. High resistant character is acquired when the above three strategies are combined together. by the approach mutant, then detoxification, overexpression of the gene were employed, and a plant was created which showed more resistant when compared to the individual strategies. So now here you can just see a screen which is shared to you. Here you can see a genetically modified crop plant. Over 63% of the genetically modified crop plant which is globally created or got will show herbicide tolerance. You can see a herbicide is sprayed in the crop or to the crop or in the field. The genetically modified crop after spraying herbicide still can thrive healthy when compared to wheat. Now the wheat is getting killed. How this is having the capacity to still combat or still act against the herbicide? That is what is the tolerance level which is shown, because they have a gene. They either have a mutant gene for EPSPS, or they have a strategy which can detoxify this by breaking this herbicide, or they have a mutant gene. So that's how this picture show tells you how you can have the effect caused by the herbicide spray only on weeds but not to the healthy crop, the genetically modified crop, which remains unaffected even after spraying with the weed. Now here you can see a chart which is showing you most important herbicide resistant species which is got the genetically modified plant. You have rigid raygrass, wild oat, red root pigweed, then common lamb's quatus, then you have green foxtail as example, barnyard grass, goosegrass, Kochia, horseweed, smooth pigweed. Now all these are the herbicide resistant species which is very important. Now here in this picture you can see a coffee plant which is 1 week old, and in the first case A you can see a healthy plant, and in the second case it is damaged or the crop is yet to wilt. Now what is this actually? This is a plant which is modified plant, herbicide tolerant coffee plant. This is non-modified or not genetically modified. So when you spray this with a herbicide called ammonium glyphosate, this plant can still be healthy because they have a capacity to act against that by showing resistance. But this plant is getting killed. So now I think you understood what is herbicide resistant plants, genetically modified plant, what is the need for that, and what are the strategies employed by the scientists to create a genetically modified plant for showing a tolerance level and resistance to the herbicides. Hope you like this video and gain some knowledge. Thank you.